We all recognize this brand. We see it on clothing, hats, tents, bags, the list goes on. The minimalist logo with its bold, chunky lines is immediately recognizable. It's the North Face. Digging a little deeper from a design perspective, this modern-day logo, crafted in 1971 by David Alcorn, is the perfect case study of international typographic style. Inspired by a rock wall in Yosemite National Park, the North Face's logo iconography is bold, minimalist, and uses geometric shapes common in Bauhaus design. Combined with the sans serif Helvetica text, the logo as a whole is easily readable, follows a grid layout, and uses just black and white colors. All of these characteristics are key elements to international typographic style, also known as Swiss style. Ever since its inception, international typographic style's direct, minimalist approach has paired well with an increasingly commercialized world, one that focused on calls to action that would sell goods to a post-World War II public and continues to do so today. All of these brands' logos utilize the same international typographic style font, Helvetica. Helvetica is a grotesque sans serif font designed in 1957 by Max Miedinger and Edward Hoffman. Miedinger was an important figure in the continued development of international typographic style and its continued use today. His most famous achievement is the creation of the now famous typeface Helvetica, originally known as Neuhaus Grotesque. Being a grotesque sans serif typeface meant that it had no ornamentation, featured asymmetrical shaping, and had a robust appearance. This typeface would play a key role in many Swiss and Swiss-inspired designs throughout the 20th century and beyond. Helvetica was designed with minimalism as the top priority, making it applicable to a variety of branding styles. Today, it is still one of the most popular and widely used fonts. At first, it may be hard to spot, but once all symbols and stylings are removed from a large number of modern corporate logos, it will become even more clear that Helvetica remains a very popular choice. These logos are modern examples, but in the 1950s and 60s, the Swiss design movement spread like wildfire across borders and continents. One example geographically far from its Swiss roots is found in the 1964 Tokyo Olympics posters, designed by Yusaku Kamikura.
Kamikura's Olympics posters were a major achievement in the development of the international typographic style. They marked the very first time photography was used for Olympic posters. The three featured posters, Starting Line, Torchbearer, and Butterfly Swimmer, were exceptionally complex to execute. Each shot required split-second photography, which was technically quite difficult to accomplish at the time. For example, Starting Line required the models to make about 80 staggered false starts before the perfect final shot was captured. The posters were printed in multicolor photogravure, effectively showcasing Japan's cutting-edge printing technology and securing Kamikura a number of awards, including the prestigious Milan Prize for Poster Graphics. The high-contrast dynamic photography you see in Kamikura's work has its roots in the early photo montage work of the 1920s and 30s. While photography wasn't a new medium, it wasn't widely adopted in poster design until this period. The birth of modernist photography right after World War I proved to be the perfect visual complement to the forming Swiss design movement. Spearheaded by Laszlo Malinaghi, the modernist movement, or the new photography, was a radical departure from the soft, dreamy, pictorialist style of the previous era. Malinaghi emphasized the camera as a mechanical eye, utilizing photography to portray an undistorted, objective image of reality. Inspired by this new clarity, Swiss designers turned to photography and photo montage as a way to communicate complex ideas through simple type and imagery. These photos were bold and eye-catching, allowing for the simple and efficient compositions that define Swiss design. Photography proved particularly useful in commercial design as it established a sense of trust in the consumer. Compared to the colorful illustrations of the previous era, a photograph felt like a far more convincing and honest endorsement. So why did this bold, minimalist, rule-following movement found on Kamikura's posters become so internationally popular? The world in this time was becoming increasingly interconnected across languages and cultures. The simplicity of Swiss design created a visual language that could transcend cultures and quickly became the standard for what was considered modern and professional. The ornamentation and detailed expression of previous generations was out. Simple communication was in.
While the Swiss get the credit, this minimalist, bold, graphic language can be traced to many cultures, and people all around the world have continued to evolve the style. One modern example is found in graphic designer and artist Shweta Malhotra's work. Based in Mumbai, her work uses minimalism, basic shapes, and grid-based designs to craft brand identities. Malhotra's work channels the spirit of international typographic style, but with a modern twist and a pop of color. She describes her work as minimal and a response to the maximalist visual language prevalent in India. Her structured, geometric approach to design echoes the work of Armin Hoffmann, a seminal figure of Swiss design. Hoffmann, who taught at the Basel School of Design, rejected ornamentation and emphasized the basic elements of point, line, and shape. His philosophy centered the idea of reduction, using minimal elements to achieve maximum clarity. The influence is evident in her use of geometric shapes as structural elements and her clean, organized layouts. However, where the Swiss style often maintains a restrained color palette, Malhotra opts for a vibrant, modern palette to create a fresh and contemporary look. Another modern example is Nikuli Langeni-Berg, a South African textile designer who studied design at the Swiss Kouspot School, graduating in 2016. Nikuli's research took her to Peru to learn different weaves and treatments in textiles, and she took back this knowledge to share with and to promote her community. Nikuli founded the Ninevites, a textile studio that collaborates with designers and artisans throughout the world, and they believe in working with practices that are respectful to humans and the planet. Nikuli's designs hold tight to her South African roots, incorporate the skills she learned in Peru, and yet offer a minimalist and modern Swiss design. International typographic style is not just found worldwide, but it's intricately intertwined with many influential brands today. Let's go way back to early 20th century Europe to see how all of this got started.
We begin in 1907 with Peter Behrens, a German architect and designer for the AEG turbine. Peter Behrens not only designed the buildings for AEG, but designed the first company logo, typefaces, and publications for AEG. Thus, he created the first company image. In 1918, Ernst Keller began teaching at the Zurich School of Applied Arts, and he developed a course in graphic design and typography. In doing so, he began to form the basic principles of Swiss design. Joseph Müller-Brockmann is another important and influential figure in the development of Swiss-style design and grid systems, which would play a key role in the development of the international typographic style. He was a student of Ernst Keller at the Swiss school. His work was defined by use of the grid system, grotesque typefaces, bold graphics, and restrained dynamic use of color. All these attributes would become essential aspects of the Swiss design movement that would later evolve into the international typographic style. Notable influences from the 1920s are the Die Style movement and Bauhaus design. Die Style was a Dutch journal in which its members shared their abstract works involving geometric shapes and primary colors. Bauhaus design originated from the German Bauhaus School of Design, focused on function over ornamentation, embracing simplicity, utilizing industrial materials, geometric shapes, and primary colors. Switzerland's neutrality during World Wars allowed its development of the art and design institutions, particularly the Zurich School of Applied Arts and the Basel School of Design. In 1947, the Basel School of Design was founded by Armin Hoffmann and Emil Rutter. Armin Hoffmann, also a student of Ernst Keller, emphasized simple, objective communication and often used typography and photography instead of illustration. Emil Rutter, the professor of typography, taught that the main purpose of typography was to communicate ideas. The school fostered a culture of experimentation with typography, photography, and composition, emphasizing balance and readability over ornament.
From the early 1900s to today, international typographic style has captivated a globalized, corporate-facing design environment. Designers today break its strict rules often, but its influence is still visible today.